Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Morrison County Planning Commission meeting for September 2nd, 2025. Please rise for the flag pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, for one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a few items to cover before we get started. Please sign in at the door as you come in if you have not done so already. There you'll find a detailed handout of the step-by-step procedure we'll follow tonight. If you wish to take one, please do. Please put any electronic devices on the silent mode at this time. Also, please note that all testimony is being recorded for the record. Members of the Planning Commission are appointed by the County Board of Commissioners with one member from each of the 5 commissioner districts. Land Service staff is here to assist the Planning Commission with its duties. The task of the Planning Commission is to hold a public hearing and make a recommendation to the County Board of Commissioners for approval or denial of requests for conditional and interim use permits, rezones, plats, and ordinance amendments in accordance with state law and county ordinance. The burden of proving a request meets the criteria for approval rests with the applicant. There is a protocol for how we'll proceed tonight. For each request on the agenda, we will hear a staff report, hear testimony from the applicants, and then we will discuss and gather more information as needed. Next, I will ask if there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak to the request. I will ask each party to come to the podium, state their name and address for the record, and give their testimony. Please be as factual as possible and direct all statements and questions to me. After all testimony is complete, I will close the public hearing portion of the process. The Planning Commission will then review and discuss the case in terms of our findings of fact criteria as required by Minnesota statute and county ordinance. We'll have a series of votes, discuss whether conditions be made, then there will be a final motion to recommend approval or denial to the County Board of Commissioners. After this final vote on your request, you may leave if you wish. The County Board of Commissioners will then consider the request and our recommendation at their next regular meeting and will either grant or deny your request. So I have several items on the agenda tonight. The first one is Jason Pauley. So if they'd want to come up front, please. So Jason Pauley at 16702 Iris Road, Little Falls. Application for an after-the-fact interim use permit to continue an automotive repair shop located in Lot 1, Block 1 of Highwood Hills, Section 27, Township 40, Range 32, Little Falls Township. So then, Jason, if you two would state your names for the record, please.
Jason Pauley.
You can pull that all the way down. Tara Pauley.
Okay, thank you. Amy, you ready with staff report?
I am, Mr. Chair. Again, this is an after-the-fact request for an interim use permit to continue an automotive repair shop. And the ordinance section for this is 604.7, and that requires an interim use permit for automotive repair. Here's an aerial photograph of the property. And then here is also another aerial photograph of the area with the parcel outlined in blue, and then also with the zoning layer on. And here's a site drawing provided by the applicant. So the applicant owns this 3-acre parcel with frontage on Iris Road, which is also called County State Aid Highway 35, and Skyview Ridge Road, which is a township road that operates an automotive repair business. The property is within the Highwood Hills residential subdivision, and that was established in 1981. The entire subdivision does have a rural residential zoning designation, except for this parcel, which was recently rezoned to agriculture. Automotive repair is prohibited within the rural residential zoning district, and its operation violated the land use control ordinance. That rezone was granted in July 2025 following a complaint and violation letters regarding the operation of the business on the property. The applicant now requests an after-the-fact interim use permit to continue operating the automotive repair shop on the property. The applicant is the service provider at the site and does not anticipate employees in the future. Within his application, the applicant has offered to plant a tree line along Skyview Road to provide screening of the automotive shop from the road. So suggested conditions would be to abide by all applicable state and local laws regarding automotive repair and proper disposal of fluids and wastes, maintain records of disposal of automotive fluids and wastes, and provide for review of records at the request of the Land Services Department. By October 31st, 2025, the property owner shall remove existing scrap and inoperable vehicles on site that are not there for repair. No outdoor storage of vehicles or vehicle components, except for the vehicles on site for service, shall be located on the property. The property owner shall plant and maintain at least one row of evergreen trees along the entire property frontage on Skyview Ridge Road. And the interim use permit shall terminate when the current property owner, Jason Pauley, ceases to own the property. All right, and then here are your criteria questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Amy. I guess at this time, the applicants, is anything you'd like to add to the staff report, or is that all correct and to your knowledge, or?
Should be all correct, yes.
Okay. Okay, so then at this time, I turn it over to our board members here. If you guys have any questions for staff or for the applicants, now would be the time to ask them. I'll start then if you guys don't want to.
Okay, otherwise, good.
So end date, we got that in our condition, and that would be when you don't own the property anymore. Okay, you're fine with that.
Yep.
Okay, one of them I was gonna ask about was number 4, no outdoor storage of vehicles or components. I mean, do you have a need for like any storage of parts that would happen to be outside?
Yes, I have tranny cores that I have out back I have it in a storage container though.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that counts as not being outside.
Right.
So the only
I do-
reason I was questioning it is, because there is some need for that sometimes, so I would maybe tweak it if you needed some, that it have to be fenced in like a non-fence where you can't see it. But
I
if
have
it's
a
in-
trailer on
Okay,
the
if it's
edge
in
of
a
my-
trailer, we'll leave it that way. I'm fine with that. I just wanted
Yeah.
to find out from you if, okay, so we'll leave it that way.
So, Mr. Chair? So if you're looking at that number 4, are you looking at retooling that? So,
There's no need no more. That's why I asked the question.
okay, because it's in an enclosed.
Yes. Because I just thought if he had a use for like a rear end or two.
Well, that's what I was gonna state. I do have another trailer where it's not enclosed, but it's where I have tranny cores and some engines. It's covered up. I got it all tarped off, but it's not just sitting right
That
out in the
would be
open.
considered outside. I mean, that'd be not outside, right?
Well, I think it's all in the eye of the beholder. I think it's, what this is getting at is, so this does not rise to the level of a junkyard.
I understand that, yeah.
Because when you have 3 or more unlicensed vehicles or components to total them, that's where you get into a junkyard. So I think we get to that status very quickly when we keep pieces and parts that total more than one vehicle.
Yep.
And so I think that's really what we're going for here is,
So, yeah, so I'm fine with leaving it the way it is. You
Well,
understand it?
Yes, I'm in the process of actually, like I have 2 storage containers behind my shop. I'm actually cleaning out the one and getting rid of it hopefully before the snow flies.
Okay.
So that'll be, because then I'm just gonna continue. I got one smaller one that's behind my shop. That's all I'm gonna keep for storage is in there.
Okay. And then here we got in a report here, it's unknown if the shop is plumbed or if it has floor drains. Do you have floor drains in
It
your
has a
shop?
floor drain, yeah.
Where does that go?
Well, it goes north out of my shop into like a rock and sand bed. It has like a grease trap in the floor.
Okay. And then, so you have water in there, yes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
so
And then-
Mr. Chair, to
Yep.
clarify, so the building is plumbed? You do have water service in the
Yes.
building? Okay. And then there's a floor drain
Yes.
And it's daylighted then out?
Well, it's buried under rock and sand. It
Okay.
comes out of the building, but it was for, I don't know.
Okay, but it doesn't go to a tank? It doesn't go to a drain field? It doesn't?
It's kind of like a drain field in a sense. I mean, filters over through rock and sand. And there's a oil trap in the drain inside the building.
Okay. We may need to look at that, as far as proper disposal of that waste and that grease trap. So, Mr. Chair, I want to make note of that.
Yep.
Just, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
add it to the
John.
conditions of what you were referencing. Were you done, or can I go?
Go ahead, I'll finish later.
So how recent is the picture that's on the screen right now?
Mr. Chair, that's from 2024.
And how about the one in the packet, because it looks just a little different?
2024, it's just a different view.
Better color on this one. So I am counting 17 vehicles here on one of these photos. How many of those are licensed or operable at this point?
Well, that's an old photo, I guess.
How many do you have there now?
I think there's like 13, 14 roughly. I guess I don't.
Inoperable?
No, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I got 4 of them of my own personal that I am in the process of resurrecting, getting back on the road.
Okay.
You know, like I have a couple that are in need of an engine and tranny. That's what I'm currently doing for side project for my own personal vehicles.
Okay.
Otherwise, the rest of them are customers.
And then for the life of me, I can't remember the last date you were in here. Was it May or June? July?
July.
Okay. Because you were in the process of cleaning up the yard at that moment in time, and I think you had a plan to buy, before the snow flies, as you mentioned then, to have everything cleaned up. Is that a realistic target to have everything cleaned up on here? I mean, it seems like a lot.
What do you consider a lot? Like, I don't know, I would just hauled in, 2, 3 loads of scrap out of there since the last meeting.
Well, I guess I don't know how many you had there before.
Wow.
I feel like personally, just from watching, I'm not a shed mama. I go to school and I go home. But I feel like that October date is a little shy for us.
Yeah, I
As a
mean,
single person trying to find someone. We have things lined up to clean up. Like there's things we want cleaned up. Oh yeah, we're gonna come and get it. Oh yeah, we're gonna come and get it.
yeah,
But then
well,
it
like I'm
doesn't
still
happen,
dealing with
so-
the wood too. I have a couple people that are planning on coming to get a bunch of it. I just talked to one actually yesterday, and they're gonna be bringing a wood processor over just to process a bunch of the wood this fall.
So minus the wood, and we stick to the vehicle as part of this.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to get a sense for how much progress have you, if there's 15 cars here in this picture, and I don't know exactly how many you had in July, but what have you actually got rid of since we met last time that you said back in that meeting,
Well,
you're already doing it and you're already in the process of doing it?
Well, I got a whole trailer load of tires loaded up, ready to be taken to the landfill. We took 3 vehicles that we filled with any miscellaneous junk that was around, hauled them into, St. Cloud or whatever, can't even think of the place, Midway Iron. And that was pretty much 90% of the stuff that I got out of there. There's some, like I got some lumber, a pile of lumber, and a few miscellaneous pieces next to my shop that I gotta finish
So if there's
getting rid of.
13 cars there, 4 of them are yours, which means there's 9 left, and you got rid of 90% of,
4 are ones that he's currently working on for himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Not including the 4 that we have licensed and registered.
so you got 8
Right,
of yours that are there.
right.
So 90%, meaning there's around 5 left. Okay.
Yep.
That's what I was just trying to,
And that's why I kept circling this, and I'm like, don't forget vehicles, because I know
Well,
we putz and
yeah.
fix, and I don't drive new, I just drive what he fixes me, so we want those able to sit in the yard, I guess.
okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Marvin.
so, Amy went over these conditions, and, I think it addresses what was brought up at the variance, majority of complaints like that. And I think in order us to possibly recommend it, you must do that. I notice also that your operations were from 10 till 10 PM. 10 PM is rather late for a mechanic shop like that. And noise-wise, are you real firm about that 10 PM? Because, here, I look at other towns when there's races and stuff like that, they make sure they're done at 10, but anyhow, we heard neighbors complain about the noises and stuff, and I just wanted to make sure that this would be addressed.
I'm doing stuff in my shop, if I'm doing a transmission or something late at
Okay.
night, I'm not
Yeah.
making noise doing that.
No,
It's in
no.
closed doors, But
Hours
I
of
mean, out in
business.
the yard stuff, no, I don't plan
Okay.
on having anything late
Okay.
at night, no.
Okay, then that addresses that. It's just a concern, and then as,
Well, the complaint too was a lot of people drive by my place late at night and they got loud exhaust and whatnot, and I was they keep complaining about it and blaming me for it. That's not us. I have numerous people come by up until 3:30, 4 in the morning with loud vehicles, and I've got blame for every one of them from up there.
yeah, well, as you have neighbors supporting you too, so.
Yeah.
There's the other part of it, just
Right.
wondering where we're at for sure at this,
Right.
and, we're trying to curtail some of this for future.
Yeah,
problems.
because I used to do, like I stated last meeting, I did a lot of work for FedEx, so it was late nights when they got off work, I'd be working at night on them to get them going the next morning. I don't do any of that anymore, though.
Yeah, okay, sounds good, thank you.
Okay, Jason, then I seen in the packet I was reading through, maybe you want to just go through it for us, like how you dispose of like your antifreeze and used oil. I see you burn it through your stove to heat the shop. So you keep antifreeze and all them type of things and you send them to recycling thing, is that where it goes?
East Side Oil Company, yeah.
Okay, so they take all your fluids except for the used oil that you
Yes,
burn?
yep.
Okay,
Which, yeah, I gotta make an appointment with them to come get some more too, yeah. So
Okay.
they're all in, oil filters are all in containers, antifreeze are in barrels.
okay,
They're barrels that they pick up.
okay. Okay, I guess probably we'll go to the public hearing or the public comment section of this public hearing. Maybe after that will arise some more questions. So if there's anyone here from the public that'd like to speak for or against this applicant, please go up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. And then if you got questions, generally how we do it is once everybody's done, we'll write the questions down and we'll address them when everything's over. So if anybody from the public has anything for this applicant, please go to the podium at this time.
Greetings, board and staff, commissioners here. My name is Chuck Perrins. I'm with Little Falls Township as the chair and supervisor. And, from the start, we've always said we were, the main intent here was to make sure that Jason and his wife were able to continue their wherewithal for, their livelihood. So we do support trying to, manage us through this so that they can continue to do that. And it sounds like we've got a good coverage of conditions that should keep most of that in compliance. The only thing that, it's kind of an overarching theme for us as township officials, because we don't have, the jurisdiction necessarily in things. It's just that overall, the whole good neighbor thing, and that is policing up the wood as you're in the process of doing. You know, it's hard to ask for certain things. You're gonna do a row of trees, which I think is a good idea. Be nice to get some overhead cover, maybe only because it's visual from down there, and store your wood and some things just under cover, because I think that's, you know, if you don't have a visual of some things, it's very helpful. But basically, if you police up the wood products and things, you know, and then certainly the yard cleanup in general and keeping it policed up, we've been in support of that. And I think that, at least previously, other than the ones that have complained on paper, the neighbors have seemed supportive of you continuing on. So it seems like a little bit of a mixed bag, but, you know, the ones that were present here were in support. So, you know, that's all we can say. And that was the last meeting, I mean, but thank you for the conditions. Thanks for taking some initiative. Anything that isn't visible is always a better thing, that's all, and policing it up and making it orderly is always a big difference for us at the township. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? I'll ask one final time if there's any other public comment. If hearing none, we'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. Okay, so I guess at this time, well, Brent made it. Okay, good. Do you have any questions for the applicant? You read through the packet, you know enough about this, right?
Yeah, and I remember when we had this at Board of Adjustment some time ago, but my concern, I guess, is hours of operation. I don't know of too many businesses that are, that you can bring your car to at 10 o'clock at night to get repair work done on in the county. And so I would propose adding a condition number 7. There's 6, right? Or was there another one
5.
added?
Well, maybe there's.
Mr. Chair, I would like to add a 7th with the floor drain. The building is plumbed and there is a floor drain and it does daylight. And so I'd like to see a condition that be looked at. So then we'd be looking at perhaps an 8th condition then, Brent?
Okay. So my concern is the hours of operation. I'm not so concerned about the doors are closed and working on a vehicle after hours. I know many mechanic shops do that throughout, you know, it's part of business. They got to get something done for somebody the next day. But if we're going to propose a recommendation to the county board to have a business out in the county with open doors, with people coming and going until 10 o'clock at night, I think that's a little unreasonable. So I'm looking for an idea of maybe just general hours of operation. You know, most businesses are 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. or something or whatever. You close the shop doors, and what you do inside to get your work done for the next day is another matter. But your general operation hours is what I'm concerned about.
I'm thinking that's what he thought when you were writing it. You were thinking you're up late working, not
Right.
necessarily customer hours.
Yeah, I
So
don't
that's,
have, yeah, not
that makes
customers
perfect
coming at
sense.
10 o'clock at night, no.
yeah.
It's
that
just,
makes
I'm in the
sense.
shop at 10
So if we were
o'clock at
to,
night.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I'm just, I mean, a lot of times I am in the shop till 10 o'clock or better, you know, working on a project, but inside the shop, not out in the yard.
Yeah, and I'm just concerned about posted hours of operation with signage out there saying, hey, wheel on in here. I don't think that's
Oh, no, I don't
until
think
10
that
o'clock at night. So is there an
No.
hour of operation during the day that we would say, you know, 5 o'clock at night, we shut down, 6 o'clock at night, we shut down, and then,
9 to 6,
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable hours.
I mean, it's more reasonable than 10 o'clock at night. So
Right.
8 to 5, 9 to 6, I'm looking for a recommendation
Well,
here.
9
'Cause
to
I'm-
6 is, yeah, that'll work.
I think that's more reasonable, and I would add that as a condition, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And then, just to clarify that, Monday through Friday, I saw that you wrote in your packet that you'd work on your own stuff on weekends, but are you planning to be open 9 to 6 on Saturday, Sunday too, 7 days a week?
No.
So
No.
Monday through Friday,
Monday
9 to
through
6?
Friday, Yep. Once in a great while, I'll take a vehicle in on a Saturday, but not real often, no.
All right, so that would be my recommendation, Mr. Chair, 9 to 6, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I like them conditions. I think it's going to be much more palatable for the commissioners to recommend it with that, and the neighbors would like it. But as Brent had stated, too, most of these shops, they do work later, but not having people driving in and out after hours. And then you'll be accused of all the noisy ones coming in. Hey, my operations are here at this time and it's shut down, so it's good for all. So, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. I read that to 10, but then I didn't bring it up because it's like, how's anybody gonna know that you're working on your car or somebody else's, you're in your shop? That's just part of life in anybody's garage anywhere.
Right.
But yeah, this clarifies it a little bit better, so if somebody complains to the county or complains to the, township or whatever, you know, well, what's he doing? Well, his lights are on at 10 o'clock. Well, he can work in there at 10 o'clock. Is he outside revving a truck up at 10 o'clock? That's a
Right.
different complaint, you know, so,
Right.
yeah. So it clears it up. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, we'll move to our criteria questions.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Brent.
just to clarify, did we get Amy's number 7 or 8?
Yes, I jotted down that for the seventh condition regarding the plumbed building with the floor drain.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Yes.
So what's the recommendation about a floor drain? What needs to be done?
So I need to look to see what you've got, because that waste is regulated by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, and it can't just go down and then just go straight out. So it does need to be captured in a tank and then tested, and then the disposal method, because you've got automotive oils and fluids that mix in there. So usually what it is you need to test it once. And then when you know what it is, then that dictates the disposal method. And then the only time you would have to retest that is if you changed something. Like if you brought a new piece of equipment on that had some sort of cleaning fluid difference, or if you change up anything in your, but you need to know what the content of that is.
So you recommend that I put a storage tank in for the
Yeah,
floor drain?
so you would put essentially a holding tank.
Yeah.
Down there, and then you would handle that separately, and it wouldn't be daylighted out from the building anymore.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because you wash your hands. I mean, I got a sink for washing my hands and
Yeah.
rinsing cars off.
Yep. Okay. So we'll go through the criteria questions. Okay, question 1, the use will not put an excess burden on roadways, utilities, and public facilities such as parks and schools. Brent?
Mr. Chair, I don't think there'll be an excessive burden on the roadways. I think this has been in operation for some time. It's a continuation, it's an after the fact. The utilities, I don't think that there's any issues there. And there's no parks and schools in the immediate vicinity that are of any concern, so.
Okay, thank you, Brent. Anybody have anything to add to question 1? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to question 2. The request will not be detrimental to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for purposes already permitted, nor impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant properties for the use's predominant area. Marvin?
Yes, and as we went over the 8 conditions, they address majority of these concerns. And then with the willingness to run the 9 to 6 hours, and the township giving his blessing as they've appreciated with the cleanup and what they've been doing, and it will make it much better for the neighbor, the township, and the county to accept.
Okay, thank you, Marv. Anybody have anything to add to question 2? Hearing none, we'll move to question 3. The use and the opinion of the planning commission is reasonably related to the existing land use and environment. Groundwater, surface water, and air quality in the surrounding area will not be adversely affected by the proposed use. John?
As this is round 2, and we made it through the first round through the Board of Adjustment, that is a no, and then we will get the drain addressed as or reviewed and inspected, and then addressed accordingly. So number 3 will be handled with the condition.
Yes, I would just like to add that with recycling things properly, the used oils, antifreeze, things like that, and then what John stated about making sure that that drain is taken care of properly, I'd say yes to question 3. Marvin, did you have anything to add?
No, that's what I was gonna bring up, that
Okay.
you're gonna be addressing it with them.
Question 4, the use is consistent with the purposes of the zoning ordinance and the purposes of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. I'll take that one. Yes, they went through already a previous meeting, got it rezoned ag, so in ag use. We do allow that with different performance standards. So we look through all them and they're all met. The ones that aren't met, that's what them conditions are put on there for, to bring you in so you can meet them. And that was all done and taken care of. So I think with all them things, they're operating, yeah, I could say yes to question 4, that it is consistent to what we're looking for in that zoning district. Anybody have anything else to add to question 4? If not, question 5, the use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan or the water plan of the county. Brent?
I think it won't be in conflict with the comprehensive plan or water plan of the county once there's an inspection of the daylight drain that's in there with a trap and testing performed. I think that brings us better in compliance with the comprehensive plan and the water plan of the county.
Yeah, and I'd just add that cleaning up like the scrap and all that stuff, that all ties into the water plan, to help with some of the groundwater issues and the surface water issues. So I think that's part of that too, so. Okay, guys have anything else? You're ready to vote? Okay, keep in mind when we're voting that we're doing that also with the 8 conditions. And I'll read through them real quick one time just so we all know. Abide by all applicable state and local laws regarding automotive repair and proper disposal of fluids and waste. 2, maintain records of disposal of automotive fluids and waste and provide for review of records at the request of the Land Service Department. Question 3, by October 31st, 2025, the property shall remove existing scrap and inoperable vehicles on site that are not there for repair. Question number 5 is no outdoor storage of vehicles or vehicle components except for vehicles on site for service shall be located on the property. Question number 5, the property owner shall plant and maintain at least 1 row of evergreen trees along the entire property frontage of Sky Ridge Road. 6, the interim use permit shall expire when Jason Polly ceases to own the property. 4, to get that floor drain checked out and taken care of properly to make sure that that's done right as far as codes and laws and ordinance. Number 8, hour operations, it would be 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. So keep them in.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Brent.
Just looking at condition number 5. I'm wondering if that shouldn't have some sort of a timeline associated with it. If we had a timeline associated with that before, because if it says you'll do that, but it doesn't say by when.
It was actually his idea, so I don't know what his thoughts were when. What was your thoughts on your timeline for the trees? That was initially your idea, right?
Well, yeah, the guy that was helping me, we kind of came to an agreement of that could be something we could do.
Yep.
Obviously, I don't have $100,000 to put a fence up.
No, yeah.
But, I mean, right now is a busy time of the season. It's gonna take a
Yep.
while to get that done.
So probably next spring you do order trees, plant trees, that's kind of probably the best time to plant them
That would
anyways.
have to
But-
be probably a next spring operation.
So if we'd put a condition of June 1st, or just a timeline on that condition, just add it to that June 1st? Is that what you're asking for, Brent?
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Got that, Amy? Okay. So then with that, anybody else have anything else? We'll just vote. Okay. Question 1. The use will not put an excess burden on roadways, utilities, and public facilities such as parks and schools. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes,
John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. Question 2, the request will not be detrimental to use and enjoyment of property in immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for uses predominant in the area. Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes with the conditions. Brent?
Yes, with the condition.
Question 3, the use and opinion of the planning commission is reasonably related to the existing land use and environment. Groundwater, surface water, and air quality in the surrounding area will not be adversely affected by the proposed use. John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes with the conditions. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
4, the use is consistent with the purposes of the zoning ordinance and the purpose of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. Myself, Clint is yes with the conditions. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Question 5, the use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan or the water plan of the county. Brent?
Yes, with the condition.
Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes with the conditions. Okay, looks like all of the questions were answered in affirmative. So I guess at this time I would take a motion to recommend approval.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to recommend approval of this to the county board, and is the date September 2nd? Or no, not September 7th.
September
When is the-
9th.
September
9th,
9th is when it'll go to the
Okay, so
board.
it's September 9th, I'm sorry.
with the condition, with 8 conditions.
The 8 conditions.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by John. All in favor say aye. Brent?
Aye.
Marv?
Aye.
Myself, Clint is aye.
Aye.
John's aye. Okay, passes. So we're gonna recommend approval to the County Board of Commissioners, and they'll hear this and make their decision on September 9th. Okay?
Okay.
And then in the meantime, you'll have to work with Land Services on, probably the biggest thing is, once if that gets approved, is make sure that that floor drain for sure gets taken care of, or at least looked at, and start the process on that, okay? Okay, thank you. You guys
Good
can
luck
go.
with it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Amy?
I just want to say, if anybody's here for the variance for Sheila Motzko, just wanted to let you know that that has been postponed until the 16th of September. So just wanted to let you know that if you're here for that, that will not be heard tonight.
We're good to go, right?
Thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item. We have David and Karen Van Heel, if you guys would want to come up, Rainbow Acres, I believe it is. Okay, we have David and Karen Van Heel, 1603 145th Street, Swanville, Minnesota. Application for an interim use permit to construct a biodigester or biogas digester system located in Point of Government, Lot 9, Section 19, Township 129, Range 31, Caldrum Township. So you guys want to all state your names for the record and who you're affiliated with, so we'll start with you, Dave.
I'm Dave Van Heel with Rainbow Acres.
Brett Butterfuss, Rainbow Acres.
Aaron Evans, Biogasco, 14835 Crow River Drive, Rogers.
Brent Lowaji, Central Crop Consulting, consultant engineer on the project.
Okay, thank you. Amy, you ready with staff report?
I am, Mr. Chair. Again, this is a request for an interim use permit for a manure biofuel plant. And the ordinance reference for this is 604.8, and that does require an interim use permit for manure biofuel plants. And then also section 1233, and that contains the performance standards for those. Here's an aerial photograph of the property outlined in blue. And then here's some oblique imagery of the property as well. Then here's a site drawing provided by the applicant. So this is a 159-acre property in Caldrum Township, and a registered Tier 4 dairy feedlot operates here. The applicant was granted a variance on April 29th of 2025 to site a manure biofuel plant 70 feet from the north property line and 470 feet from a non-feedlot residence. So the applicant today proposes establishing that manure biofuel plant on the west side of the property, and the feedstock for the plant will come from the current on-site dairy cow operation. This project is a partnership between Dave Van Heel, the landowner and dairy producer, who will provide the site and manure, and Biogas Co., which will construct and operate the plant. Land Services provided the application packet to the Swanville Fire Department, and the applicant must communicate with the fire department. I did confirm with the fire department today that that contact has occurred. And then here are your criteria questions, Mr. Chair. I also did receive a letter from the Swanville Fire Chief, and I did email that to all of you. Did you all see it and read it?
Yes.
Yes?
I
Okay.
did, yep.
All right, then I'm not gonna worry about reading it unless someone hadn't had a chance. All right, that's it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any of you guys have anything to add to this, or any controversy about what you heard? Shouldn't be. Okay. Okay. So I guess this time we'll open up to the planning commission for some questions. Maybe I'll start first because I have a few that I think might answer some questions for everybody. So I'll go first. First one is end date. Being it's interim use. Is this really interim use or is it conditional use?
Interim.
Okay. So Dave, have you thought about how you'd want to do that for an end date? You know, an interim use permit has to have an end date, okay? It can be a date, or it can be like when you say you no longer own the property, or if you want to do it when your kids don't own it, but then we'd have to list them and make sure that that's listed down.
Mr.
Have you put any, Amy, yeah?
Is there a lifespan for the facility?
Generally speaking, the lifespan of the facility is 20 years.
Okay, so that might be
Uh,
something to work with there.
So what's your thoughts?
Obviously, the facility can be, the life of the facility can be extended well beyond that, just through proper maintenance
Yeah.
and other repairs, et cetera. But when we speak about contracts, et cetera, we're talking about 20 years. So this is our first interim use permit. We have permitted in several counties in Minnesota. And we are a Minnesota-based company, so we've only worked in Minnesota. But those have all been CUPs without end dates, so we haven't approached that before. I would recommend that the date be something beyond 20 years, just to ensure that there's plenty of time on the permit. I guess I haven't crossed this bridge before.
I would think I'd have to do something with, as long as we're milking cows, we should be able to use it, as long as this gets renovated. And I understand you have that's
What
not
about
a
what
fine
about a
idea.
dispersal of that partnership between the dairy and biogas? Would that be an acceptable time or not?
Unless they would sell it to somebody else.
Mr. Chair?
Or
Go ahead,
vice
Amy.
versa, either way.
Or to us, yeah.
I think one of the things and why this is an interim use permit is because things change and change hands, and it gives the county board an opportunity to look at it. So if Biogasco is no longer in the picture and you're contracting with someone else and they're retrofitting this, they can take another look at it. Doesn't mean you won't get a permit. It just means, when are we gonna look at this again? The other thing is there is a caveat, as you know, with this, is that we put this in just to open the door for this. So there may be some changes within the ordinance that may require you to re-permit this anyway, and or retroactively have to come in under terms of a different permit. In the future, this may end up being a conditional use permit. This permitting pathway was laid out for this purpose. So I think you'll probably see some changes as we put our permanent standards into place down the road. So the term of your contract now is what, 20 years?
That is correct.
Okay.
Would you be fine with that, Dave?
I'd be fine.
Because like I said, by then there'll be probably new technology. It might get retrofitted by then. There'll be totally different parameters. I think 20 years is probably fair for both parties.
That's fine.
Okay, so we'll go 20 years from date of processing? Like when
From-
it starts producing?
Well, generally, it's from date of issuance.
Yeah.
So that's what we would do. Then there also would be the ability to come in and amend that condition. So you certainly can come in and say, hey, I want to amend that condition. So instead of 20 years, I want to kick that out to 30. And when you open it up, you're only looking at that condition. So there is ability to adjust that without putting the whole thing on the table again.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so I read through your 41-page, I don't know what you would say, your book of lies or whatever it's called. I don't know what it is, but anyways, couple things in there I saw. So you had a sign in and sign out sheet associated with that, like if people come to the farm or whatever for that biodigester. Was that just for the biodigester, or is that something you're gonna do for the whole farm?
That was just a bio.
Okay, that's fine. And then I seen you had like something about securities, cameras, sensors, things like that. Okay, then just a note that common hazards with this, when I was reading through it, it isn't like explosions or anything like that. The most common hazards are drowning, electrical shock, and noise exposure. Okay, so one of the things that come with me, because I was in the propane industry for 20 years, and propane, natural gas, all that's odorless and colorless, and they add a smelling agent to it. So my question was, what part of the process and when is that put in?
Yeah, so the only time that can be put into the gas is after the upgrading. So it's basically it coincides with the upgrading, so that if we put in the mercaptan any sooner, it would be stripped out during the process. The biogas in the digester is 60% methane, 40% CO2, and we need to bring it up as close as possible to 100% methane, which is usually 98, 99%. At that point, we add specifically spot leak 1007, which is somewhat of a mercaptan. It's the rotten egg smell. But if we added it any sooner, it would just be stripped out. So we put that in. There's I don't know the exact distance, but there's probably 30 or 40 feet of pipe that is not odorized, but it's also not pure methane. It's 40% CO2, which is the same thing in fire extinguishers. But that's the only point in the process that is not odorized.
So basically, it's when it's right at the final product, when it becomes methane, that's when it's added.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And before going into the pipeline, obviously.
Okay. And then I see in that plan, it also talks about training and all kinds of things for, people. So my question is like, who's gonna take care of this digester? Is it gonna be designated to just 1, 2, 3 people on the farm? I mean.
I'll just handle that really quickly. So Biogasco manages the entire operation. The farm is not responsible for managing the digester or the equipment that surrounds the digester.
Okay, so changing the oil in the pumps.
That's us.
That's all you.
Yep.
So the farm produces the manure and you take care of everything after that.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So everything on the plant is our responsibility. And we have trained operators who, like going back to your first question, what if there's methane or raw biogas that is not odorized? Well, they're wearing badges. Anytime they're on the plant, they wear a gas monitor that detects hydrogen sulfide, methane, any flammable gases, CO2, et cetera. So they have that warning because they know that there is the potential, rare potential for gas to be in contact with them, unauthorized.
Yep.
But it's all trained personnel who maintain the equipment within the fence, within our fence, which
Okay.
is, just a subset of the
Okay.
farm itself.
Okay, so that's all. Just make sure, there's gonna be 3 people on a farm doing it or whatever if they're trained, but it's not. So, so when it goes, just one quick final thing. So as we go through, we're talking about that. There's a book that's gonna have read through the letter from Swanville Fire Department, and their support for it and what they said they're gonna do in training and all that. But in that book, you're gonna have if anything happens, who to call for this, and this, right?
For our operators?
Yes.
Yes.
If
they
there's
have
a
all the
fire,
contacts.
all the protocols. So I guess what I'm asking is, I don't think it's mandatory, but I'd like is if, once that's put together, the final thing, that the county could have a copy of that. Is that possible?
I believe so.
Okay. I think that's all I really had. So John, you had something?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So two quick things. A lot of times with these maintenance contracts, how many do you have in Minnesota right now?
We only have 2 operational,
Okay.
but we have several more permitted, ready to break ground.
Right, so what happens to these maintenance contracts when your organization gets to a certain level and then VC comes in and says, hey, we'll take it from here and we want to take this to a much broader regional level than where you're at currently? This is like what happens with the windmill contracts where all of a sudden they're not maintained, the lights don't work, the oil's not changed, and they just sit there. What happens then?
Well, if I can't speak for the wind industry, but in our industry, if the plant's not maintained, it doesn't produce, and if it doesn't produce, you're not getting any return on investment. So, at this point, Biogasco is a Minnesota company, and we don't have any intention of selling. I wouldn't. I mean, if someone gave us an awesome offer, I wouldn't say that we would turn it down.
Right.
But at that point, that buyer would be taking over all of the responsibilities of the plant, or just owning Biogasco and Biogasco continuing to maintain as we already are. Maybe I'm missing your question a little bit.
I'm just wondering how you write maintenance contracts for past 20 years if all of a sudden you say, yep, I'm good, I'll take that check, and then move on.
Yeah, so we own and operate it, so the maintenance contract is with
I got
ourselves.
that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So if somebody else was to operate our business, I don't know how to speak about how they would operate the business.
Okay. And then the second thing I had, in the letter from the Swanville Fire Department, they don't have a gas meter, so who's putting up for that?
So I spoke with Jesse, the fire chief, this morning about that, and he said that he had already been, because there's more natural gas and other industries in the surrounding area that are growing. He said that he was budgeting it and not asking us to pay for it. However, I mean, like, the badges we wear are under $1,000. And they monitor, all the hazardous gases that we would have on site. I do know that, I mentioned that to him, and he said he was looking for something that was fire specific and had more. To be honest, I wasn't familiar with the unit that he was looking at, but yeah, at the moment it's scheduled to be the fire department, but we wouldn't be opposed to paying for it. Jesse specifically said he wasn't asking us and didn't intend for us to pay for it, but it wouldn't be a big deal either way.
Okay. All right, well, that makes it easy if it's not a big deal.
Yep.
Awesome. Those are two starting ones. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Marvin.
Okay, so you're a Tier 4 dairy farm, if I remember correctly, and you're regulated by the Minnesota Pollution Control. How often do they come to your site?
Usually once in 2 years, and then if you have any changes that you want to make, then they come out and inspect before the change and after the change.
So they would be intricately involved with this because this is a change, I would assume?
MPCA has already permitted the digester.
Yep, and so they will be watching over the digester as they're watching over the farm, correct? Okay,
Not necessarily. They're certainly permitting but they're not going to oversee the maintenance or management of it. That's what Biogasco will be.
Well, I didn't expect the maintenance or whatever, but see, pollution control, we got an issue, we got to have this to go to, and making sure things are in.
A great example of that is when we pour concrete for the digesters, we're obligated to notify the MPCA to come out and inspect, and they can comment, for example, on cracks or something else in the concrete. So they do monitor certain aspects of the construction, specifically any of the manure handling aspects, yeah.
And in the event that there would be, the fire department having to come out there, I would think that they would probably be, okay, we should do a follow-up like that. Right? And then with that being said, as John's question was, is about the training, and looks like you spoke with them, they're gonna be doing that. And I was also thinking for buying the equipment, because Swanville is a relatively small fire department, and covering the costs of some of these, may help. So that was also possibly a condition that I recommend, helping them with this here, but.
Yeah, happy to do so. Like I said, I even had this conversation with Jesse, and he said, no, we already have it in our budget, but this is not an issue for us. We'd be happy to pay for it.
Okay.
Just for the record, when it comes to fires, if there's ever a fire on site, there won't be any gas anywhere in the vicinity when the firefighters arrive. It'll be gone within minutes or whatever.
Yeah, but I was concerned, other spills, other issues,
Sure.
whatever like that, so, thank you.
Brent, do you have anything?
I think Marvin and John brought up my concern. That was with Swanville Fire and equipment and badging. And it sounds like you're okay with that. We'll probably add a condition that be provided by biogas for the Swanville Fire Department for their needs.
Sure, anything within, anything that's reasonable. I don't know if it's just monitors, gas monitors and analysis, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what it is, and I know how budgeting goes. Sometimes they put it in for a budget, but city councils, county boards can also say, well, we need something else done, and that's not in your budget anymore. So we want to make sure that the fire folks have the equipment that they need should they be called, and as long as you're willing to do that, I think that's a condition that we would add on here.
For gas monitors, yeah.
Okay. And then just as a public information, I've had the curious question. I was going to ask it at the Board of Adjustment meeting, but I'll ask it now for any public. I'm always curious, how much methane gas does this produce once it goes into the pipeline, and how does that support the rest of, say, Morrison County or those further on down the pipeline?
Yeah, so we would be injecting into Greater Minnesota Gas, which is the primary utility here, and the main line runs through the ditch at Dave's property and serves the farm. We would be producing approximately 80 million BTUs per day, all off of the manure, and that would be enough for, let's say, 200 homes in the dead of winter, January, February, or to be honest, 100% of the city of Swanville. Probably enough to, not 100% sure about Little Falls itself, but since we're sitting here, in the summer, it's probably enough to heat the entire city in the summertime, not in the wintertime. Because obviously consumption goes up and down with the weather. So it is a significant amount, and the interesting point about Greater Minnesota Gas is because of their interstate pipeline connection. That's the connection that goes cross borders, across Canada, for example, or down to Texas. Because of their interstate pipeline connection, they get extremely constrained during the wintertime, and they don't have enough gas. So the turkey barns and the other big consumers, they have to elect, are we going to go to interruptible service and possibly be cut off, or are we going to go to firm service and pay a whole lot extra? Well, Greater Minnesota Gas was very much in favor of this project because they have local production that isn't weather dependent, which means they're not relying on the interstate pipeline capacity. That's the main supply coming to the town or to their grid, to their utility. They're not reliant on that quite as much. And so they're not going to, the community, for example, is not going to be nearly as constrained in the wintertime, which means more gas and cheaper gas because you're not paying, you're not paying those constraint penalties, you're not paying the interstate pipeline capacity, which is several dollars, by the way. So several dollars per MMBTU. If you're a large consumer, that adds up, you know, some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars, some cases millions of dollars, just for that component, and you get to take that off. So the utilities winning, the consumers, the local consumers are winning. And of course, we're trying to, everyone at this table, the dairy farm and ourselves included, are trying to benefit from this as well.
Thank you.
Okay, I got one final thing since we didn't touch on it, so that'll be for you. Tell us how it changes the manure. I was reading through, and it kind of changes the nitrate level or nitrogen levels in it, and some of them things. So could you maybe talk us through that just briefly?
Yeah, so real briefly, so my technical background is an engineer, not as an agronomist. So I'll speak as well as I can on it. So the manure going in and out of the plant, if you took total nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, in and out is going to be mass balance the same. When you look at your percentages of inorganic or organic nitrogen, we expect that to change. A lot of that is due to the physical makeup of the manure as it goes in. We have bigger particles. When it comes out, it's smaller particles. You have to break something down to get the gas out. So with that, we would expect higher inorganic nitrogen to be available for first year crop production. But in other ways, N, P, and K, those total levels are going to be constant.
So the way I understand it, tell me if I'm right or wrong, the way I understand it is that available nitrogen would probably be less acceptable to leaching as normal. This would be actually better. Or am I wrong?
So the typically organic nitrogen is very safe just because it has to break down and go into another form. Being inorganic nitrogen already, it's a stable state to begin with, but it would be one step closer to volatilization or leaching as ammonia or ammonium, in either case.
But then it would also be more.
It would also be
It's
more
more
crop
available.
available.
More
the
available,
crops.
so
Yeah.
it shouldn't leach as much. I understand what you're saying for the.
Yeah. From I guess so when we look at, and we do this with our other digesters in Minnesota and South Dakota as well, but when we look at our manure application rates, we adjust those based on that first year available crop food for N, P, and K. So if we have a higher amount of inorganic nitrogen, we know that that's going to be available for the crop, so we adjust those manure rates down to have less of it out there,
Yep.
more in line with what we would expect the crop to use.
Okay, and that's kind of how I interpreted it, but I figured commissioners might have questions on that, probably the board members, the county as a whole, so.
I think to further answer your question, you're looking at what is your timeline? If you're looking at leaching over a single rain period, it might be different than if you're looking at what is the potential for leaching over 3 years, which, if it was completely unprocessed, you might be looking at 3 years of available nitrogen versus 1 year, or,
Yep.
I don't have the ratios as Brent does, but
Yep.
are you looking at a single event or the entire time period?
Yep. Okay.
I guess it to maybe clarify too, it would make the manure more predictable as far as how much nitrogen is actually there. When we have high amounts of organic nitrogen that we're relying on for crop production, that's when guys end up short late season. You can see nitrogen deficiencies just because that mineralization didn't occur like you may have expected. So being a lower organic content on the nitrogen, it's a lot more easy to rely on that being there, the portion that we know is there. So then a lot of times we have less cover up nitrogen applications that would go on. So in the long term, I guess, we'd be more nitrogen
Precise.
precise or, friendly in that market.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, if not, we'll move to the public comment section of this. If there's anybody from the public that would like to say something for the applicant or against, now's the time. Please go to the podium. Any public comment? I have to ask 3 times, so I'll ask a third and final time. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, I'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. You guys ready to go through the criteria questions?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, question 1. The use will not put an excess burden on roadways, utilities, and public facilities such as parks and schools. Marvin?
First, I'm going to comment, nice job in filling out the criteria questions. Very well put together here. And I'm going to use some of this here because I think it was so well put together. It will not, proposed project will benefit the surrounding air quality by processing volatile solids producing at the dairy. No burden to the roadways, utilities, or other public use infrastructures anticipated to be impacted. Also, it's already, the site, once it's put up there, you're not going to see any more traffic. It's in a remote area. And as we talked about, you also will be turning in manure into in a more of a usable fashion, and you won't have to be putting up with the smells. But back to the utilities, roadways, parks, no, it won't make any changes at all.
Okay, thank you, Marv. Anybody else have anything to add to question 1? If not, question 2, the request will not be detrimental to the use and enjoyment of the other property in immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for uses predominant area. John?
No, it will not be detrimental. I mean, you're far enough off of the road and far enough off of the county road there already with multiple buildings on the 160 acres, and we've already gone through the Board of Adjustment hearing that allowed for this now interim use permit to happen. So, this specific request will not impact anything in the immediate vicinity or impede the orderly development.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have anything to add to question 2? Not question 3. Question 3, the use and the opinion of the planning commission is reasonably related to the existing land use and the environment. Groundwater, surface water, and air quality in the surrounding area will not be adversely affected by the proposed use. When we were out there for our site visit back on the variance, one of the things for the groundwater and stuff was the location of the tanks. So I think the location of the tanks, where they're being put in, is really pertinent to the groundwater issue. So that helps. The surface water, I read in there somewhere that they're looking to keep as much natural vegetation around the whole perimeter or the whole site to help with that, so there is no erosion or anything like that, and slow water down, so that was good. And then I believe I read in there somewhere that actually the air quality with putting this digester in is going to actually be less odor than what just the dairy pit would put off on its own. So that kind of helps it actually. So I think them things are all good steps into this project. So I would say yes to question 3. Anybody have anything else to add? Question 4, the use is consistent with the purposes of the zoning ordinance and the purposes of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. Brent?
Yes, I mean, this is ag zoning, it's gonna be an ag use. It's, my notes here are direct from farm to pipe. It's gonna go into a pipe and it's gonna go to Greater Minnesota Gas. There's no trucking involved here. This is kind of a proposed use that just makes for a cleaner operation of the farm and is not in conflict with anything here. It kind of works together, and it provides fuel to needed customers elsewhere down the line.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything to add to question 4? If not, question 5, the use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan or the water plan of the county. Marvin?
I don't believe it is. In fact, I think it helps align things with it. If you look at the comp plan, I mean, ensure that the county provides and protects the most suitable for strong, stable agriculture, ensures the county policies and ordinance do not restrict farming practices. I think you're going to be a model farm by doing what you're doing here. People complain out in the country about the smells, and here you're looking using this here. I used to work for Minnesota Power, and we were talking about these biodigesters in the past, and here you're going to be a model by this here. And so I think it aligns with the comp plan.
Okay, thank you, Marv. Anybody have anything to question 5? Okay, if not, we'll proceed to vote on this. Amy, could you read what conditions we had again? I know there was an end date and then there was something Brent had.
Yep, Mr. Chair, I have the term of the interim use permit as 20 years from date of issuance, and then also that the Swanville Fire Department shall be supplied with a gas meter. And that condition actually goes on the property owner, and so that'll have to be something that we only hold the property owner responsible. So that'll be something that you'll have to make sure you see to it that he does.
I just ask that you update the terminology. So a gas meter regulates flow and a gas monitor regulates, so I just use the term monitor versus meter.
Thank you. Okay, you guys got all that? Okay. Question 1, the use will not put an excess burden on roadways, utilities, and public facilities such as parks and schools. Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. Brent?
Yes.
Question 2, the request will not be detrimental to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for uses predominant area. John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
Question 3, the use in the opinion of the Planning Commission is reasonably related to the existing land use and environment. Groundwater, surface water, and air quality in the surrounding area will not be adversely affected by the proposed use. Myself, Clint is yes. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Question 4, the use is consistent with the purpose of the zoning ordinance and the purposes of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. Question 5, the use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan or the water plan of the county. Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. Brent?
Yes.
Okay, looks like all 5 of the questions were answered in affirmative, so I guess I take a motion to recommend approval.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make that motion with the conditions.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Brent? Okay, there's a motion made and second to recommend approval to the County Board of Commissioners with the 2 conditions. All in favor say aye. Brent?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Myself, Clint is aye. John?
Aye.
Okay, it's approved. So we'll recommend to the County Board of Commissioners that they approve this, and they'll hear that at their meeting on September 9th. Okay, so anything between now and then, any questions or anything, contact Land Services, and good luck with your guys' project.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our third item on the agenda, we have Dale and Cheryl Mashiga. When you come up here, you can state your name and then I can hear it right. Pardon, sorry about that. 2458 Lakeshore Drive, Motley, Minnesota. Application for an after-the-fact conditional use permit to raise the cabin to floodplain standards located in Lot 13 of 6th Addition to Shamana Park, Section 17, Township 132, Range 31, Scandi Valley Township. So if you'd say your names for the record, please.
Dale Meshuga.
Meshuga, okay, thank you.
Cheryl Meshuga.
Okay, thank you. Amy, you ready for the staff report?
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is an after-the-fact conditional use, a request for alternative flood-proofing method. The ordinance sections that pertain is section 1004.34 that requires a conditional use permit for residential structural alternative elevation methods. And section 1006.22 contains the allowable alternative flood-proofing methods. Here's an aerial photograph of the property outlined in blue. And then here are some other aerial photographs of the property as well. Then here is the floodplain layer turned on, so the blue cross hatching is the extent of the floodplain. This property has a non-conforming dwelling for setback to the lake and is within mapped floodplain. The Land Services Department has been working with the property owner since 2020 on multiple violations of grade and fill, dwelling movement, deck and shed construction, and non-compliant floodproofing. Typically, elevation above floodplain is achieved by elevating the construction on fill. Minnesota floodplain standards require fill to extend 15 feet in all directions from the building. Due to the after-the-fact nature of this work and the proximity of the dwelling to the lake, elevating on fill is not practical. Other methods of floodproofing are allowed by FEMA standards, however, they require the conditional use permit to implement. The applicant employed internal flooding with vents that will allow water to move through and beneath the dwelling. The applicant has submitted an acknowledgement from a licensed engineer that the internal flooding was built in accordance with the FEMA Technical Bulletin 1, and that is the requirements of flood openings in foundation walls of enclosure. The applicant requests this after-the-fact conditional use permit to continue that internal flooding for the dwelling. And then here are criteria questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Amy. You guys have anything to add to the staff report?
Not really. The only thing is the fact that we raised it. The only reason I raised it was not because of the flood. It was because the ice jacking took out the foundation, the blocks, and broke them out. So I raised it to replace the blocks. And I removed the blocks that were broken. Then I hired a contractor to come in and lay the block, and obviously he added another block to the foundation height, and I didn't know that.
Okay. So, a couple things, we started this process in 2020, so maybe you can kind of walk us through what took so long.
Can I answer that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
We have lived for 9 months out of the year in our legal residence of Florida since 2016. And so when the flood happened, was that in 220 or 221? And since then, there have been 3 different rules, regulations, standards that have changed during those years between 2020 and now, the latest being FEMA, we're very used to FEMA being in Florida after 3 hurricanes that have caused damage. I mean, we respect them, we get it, but when we started the procedure, being DIYers, we're only here 2.5, 3 months of the year in the summer, except for the people we've hired, like the engineer and the surveyor and the construction that needed to be done. Even lifting of the house, he physically did himself with giant jacks and with his son-in-law who will inherit the property someday. We've just been trying to keep up with each new standard as it came to be.
Okay. So Amy, I was reading through, so do we know what the impervious surface is on this? I read somewhere here where it needs to be under 25%. Do we know what that is? I never did find that in there, I guess. Okay, then maybe you guys, while she's looking, you guys can, send some of this here. You added a shed and then that deck in front of it, without permitting. Can you maybe address that a little bit?
Well, yeah, if you look on page 5 on here, that's a picture of the property when I bought it in 2010. And the shed and the deck were on the structure at that time. And I was always under the understanding after that flood, we could replace that stuff. Because it was destroyed, we could replace it. And obviously, that's not true.
You just missed the deadlines to replace it, I'm sure is what the deal
Yeah,
was.
in the
Amy?
end, yeah. And some of the,
Well, I mean, by years probably, but whatever.
and some of the communication has been a problem because in the beginning, we were told, just do what you need to do, save your property. And we did, and parts of it were destroyed. And then as each new standard came into effect, the middle one was something through the county, and we could no longer just do what we needed to do. We had to get permits, and so we must have missed that communication. And our only justification is, like, for instance, the last 2 letters that came out to us this summer, one being about the shed and the deck, and then the one where he still hadn't gotten this paperwork yet today, and he called. Both of them were sent to, one was sent to the address at the little cabin where we don't live, we live up on the hill. And this one was sent to Florida on the 21st of August. There's no way we get things that quickly.
Yep.
So we don't even know how many bits of written communication we've missed over the years.
Okay.
But we're trying to comply.
So Amy, did you want to answer that pervious surface, or didn't you find that, or?
So we did not require a survey with the impervious surface because we knew it was not at issue here.
Okay.
Because originally, when they attended the development review team meeting, we were discussing the elevation of the home, also then that unpermitted deck and the shed. They are removing the shed and they are removing the deck. So you're not considering those 2 things. So this is actually a conditional use permit, not a variance.
Yep.
And so we weren't addressing anything through a variance, so we weren't concerned
Okay.
with the impervious surface calc.
Okay. All right. So when I was looking through, on your engineer for the flood, structure, whatever you call it, but your foundation under there and how they were doing it made sense to me, when I looked through. At least they calculated for some of the gridding and some of them things. So when I was looking through it, it looked fine to me. Is there anything with that, Amy, that's not kosher with the county?
No, Mr. Chair, because this has already been implemented, that letter from that engineer who has been on site and has reviewed it and has calculated the opening size versus what that bulletin. So essentially, he's already signed off on that. And so he's saying that it is substantially in compliance with Technical Bulletin 1. So nothing more would need to be done.
That's how I understood. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any questions here on the planning commission?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Marvin.
This one's probably addressed more to Amy. It sounded like things were going on and getting addressed right along here. After, if this would be approved, everything else has been addressed and taken care of. Am I correct or not?
Mr. Chair, I would have to check with our shoreline specialist to see if he's been back out on site to verify that everything's been removed. It hasn't. He has not been on site or things haven't been removed.
He hasn't been on site because he wanted to wait till after this meeting.
Okay, so he'll verify that.
So they're working on it, and with that being said, I don't know, we recommend a condition or whatever that,
There's no nexus to this. This one is asking for an alternative elevation on fill.
Okay.
That continues to be an outstanding violation that will get pursued regardless. And so I'm not sure that there's an ability to put a condition on there because there just isn't much of a nexus between what they're asking for here and what that violation is.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that things would get all squared up, because we've had enough issues with things in the past on that lake here. And granted, you've been going through some tough times there with, and a lot of others, but we want things addressed, as there were a few that got neglected, and the county had to move forward and take some take some tough decisions and get it cleaned up. So anyhow, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Brent.
maybe just for clarification, Amy, maybe you can help me out here. I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, but this would be after the fact conditional use permit to allow for the one extra course of block that went around in lieu of actual fill coming in and raising it up to that floodplain standard?
So it's really not about the one course of block, two courses of block. It's about the allowing flood openings, so water runs through the bottom of that foundation, through those vents, and instead of elevating that lower floor a foot above the regulatory floodplain elevation. And so essentially, because they elevated on block and then they put those vents through, they had to show that those are sites enough to relieve that hydrostatic pressure, so that water can move freely through the structure instead of that 15 feet of fill. So they're kind of two different flood proofing techniques. One allows that water to move through, and one keeps that lowest floor a foot above.
Thank you.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Marvin.
Amy, didn't we have one earlier that used the same thing in?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'll move this portion of the meeting to the public. If there's anybody here from the public that wishes to speak for or against this applicant, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm John Z. Marsh, and I live at 2107 Birchcrest Drive, which is not, I'm on a different lake than what they're on, but that's, I have known them. Cheryl used to be the school nurse, and we were foster grandparents at the school, and we got to know her, and we got to know Dale. And I've known Dale for a long time, and he's a very honest person. And I want to just comment on that he has been very good. He uses my shop quite a bit, too much. But other than that, it's been very good.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? I'll ask third and final time. Any other public comment? Hearing no more, we'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. You guys have anything else before we go to the criteria questions?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the criteria questions. Okay, question 1. The use will not put an excess burden on roadways, utilities, and public facilities such as parks and schools. John?
Yes, this one's not even really applicable. There's nothing in here that stresses any of those. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to add? Question 2, the request will not be detrimental to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for uses predominant area. No, that area is known to flooding. They raised up and did the proper flood, what you would say, they did the right thing by putting in the flood. They put in, they're required to have 775 square inches open, flood opening area, and they're almost not quite, pretty 45%. They're above, not quite double, I shouldn't say. They're at 1,380 square inches, so they got more than adequate enough. It's not going to really affect anybody else because of that, so I would say yes to question 2. Question 3, the use and opinion of the planning commission is reasonably related to the existing land use and the environment. Groundwater, surface water, and air quality in the surrounding area will not be adversely affected by the proposed use. Brent?
I think we're really just going to kind of go past air quality, but groundwater and surface water, that's what this is all about. And with the engineering by Stark Engineering, reading through that, I think that's indicating that what has been done there is suffice for what needs to be accomplished at this point. So, and I don't think anything that's been done there is adversely affecting anything else.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have anything to add to question 3? Hearing none, we'll move to question 4. The use is consistent with the purpose of the zoning ordinance and the purpose of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. Marvin?
Yes, I believe it is. It is, and they came up with an engineered plan that's approved by Land Services and which has been done on another cabin on this lake, so I think it totally aligns with it.
Okay, anybody have anything to add to question 4? Hearing none, move to question 5. The use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan or the water plan of the county. John?
I'll just read it. The existing, from Stark Engineering report, the existing flood openings provide a total area of 1,380 square inches, which is more than the required flood opening area of 775 square inches. All mechanisms to block water flow have been removed. It's my understanding the work was completed by May 31st, deadline as agreed upon by the applicant and the county. He's inspected all 7 flood openings and certified that they meet FEMA requirements.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have anything to add? If not, we'll move to voting. There is no conditions, Amy, right? No. Okay. So you guys ready to vote then?
Yes.
Okay. Question 1, the use will not put an excess burden on roadways, utilities, and public facilities such as parks and schools. John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
Question 2, the request will not be detrimental to the use and enjoyment of other property in immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, nor impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for use of predominant area. Myself, Clint is yes. Brent?
Yes.
John, or Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Question 3, the use and the opinion of the planning commission is reasonably related to the existing land use and environment. Groundwater, surface water, and air quality in the surrounding area will not be adversely affected by the proposed use. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. The use is consistent with the purpose of the zoning ordinance and the purpose of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. Marvin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. Brent?
Yes.
Question 5, the use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan or the water plan in the county. John?
Yes.
Myself, Clint is yes. Brent?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
Okay. All 5 questions were answered in affirmative. So I guess at this time I'd take a motion to recommend approval to the County Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to forward this to the Morrison County Commissioners for approval at their next meeting, September 9th.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. John? Okay, the motion made and seconded to recommend approval to the County Board of Commissioners. All in favor say aye. Brent?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Myself, Clint is aye. John?
Aye.
Okay. approved, so we're gonna recommend approval to County Board of Commissioners. They'll have their meeting on September 9th, and that's when they'll make the final decision on that, so. Anything you need in between then and now, contact Land Services.
Right,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any new or old business? I don't know of any.
Mr. Chair, I don't think I have any.
Okay, thank you. And then we also have minutes,
2 rounds.
2 times, from July 22nd and August 19th. And I do have one from August 19th that needs to get changed. It says Chairman Clint Catherine read the opening statement. That should be Vice Chair Brent Lindgren. I wasn't on that one.
No, he wasn't.
We just had one planning.
That was just that one.
Yep. Okay, so then, I guess I need motion to, I guess I'll make the motion to approve both August 19th and July 22nd amended minute. Amended for August 19th and accept July 22nd. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, minutes approved. Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and seconded adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 7:36.